What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Episode 22 of the Gym Range podcast. The boys are back.
Oh, yeah.
Karl Heiser, Alex Cervantes, presented by Vendetta Sports Media. And we are just over 2 weeks away. Just over 2 weeks away from the end of the tournament, from having a bracket. Can't wait. But in this past week, quite a lot of eventful things. We had coaches getting in fights. We had coaches getting ejected for hyping up the crowd. We had block charges.
Extension news is for coaches that aren't good.
Indeed, we do. Indeed. And Providence just continues to win games. So there's that.
Yes, they do.
They can't lose. Right off the bat, we probably do have to talk about the Juwan Howard incident, since we haven't talked about it yet. But I think like it's the first thing I'll say about this is it's crazy to me that people are going so far in the it was Greg Gard's fault direction. And I get granted, with Twitter, with college basketball fans in general, you will get people on both extremes. So maybe it's to be expected. But we saw the video, we saw what happened. We saw exactly what went down.
I mean, I feel like it's been harped on ad nauseum for the past 5 or so days. So I don't know if we need to spend that much time on it, but I mean, I agree. You saw it. We had the little slap, not even little, we had a straight up slap push.
Something.
A slush across the face from Howard. I come back to, it was appropriate suspension for Howard. You have to wonder whether whether the Wisconsin assistant GM or guard should have been suspended a game. That's kind of up in the air. That's debatable. Players that did throw punches were suspended 1 game. To me, it comes back there's no precedence for we have nothing. I mean, obviously there's no precedence for a fight like this, but what I'm trying to get is there needs to be a streamlined way for the way how the NCAA and these conferences hand out punishments. Because Alan Griffin 2 seasons ago got suspended 2 games and ejected from the one he was in when he stepped on Stefanovic.
Yeah. I mean, didn't Silvio De Souza miss 12 games when he picked up that chair and during the brawl?
Yep.
I think it's good to want there to be consistency, or at least some type of
Kofi gets suspended 3 games for selling NIL stuff.
Yeah, before it was that was a whole statute of limitations thing. So that I think it's good to want there to be consistency, but I think we also have to recognize we're never going to get it.
No, we're not.
We're never ever going to get it. And so that's kind of the first thing that goes into it. I do think that, for what it's worth, I think the suspensions were fair.
They were.
So I think at the end of the day, that's, all we really need to say about something that's been talked to death and kind of made maybe a bigger story than it needs to be. Although I can't remember the last time, we've never seen this. We've never seen a coach take a swing.
Not in my lifetime.
Yeah.
Not in my 19 years of existence and 12 or so of watching college basketball.
Other than that, though, on the good, the positive, the fun side, the Big East continues to Big East.
Yes, they do.
So Providence and Xavier, triple overtime. Providence pulls out another close win. I still don't understand how they're doing this. I guess they're good. And Xavier's been definitely stumbling down the stretch. It's not good. It's not a good look.
I won't lie to you. I unfortunately did not catch that Providence game as I was watching the beginning of the world falling apart. So prayers to Ukraine, prayers to anyone who was in that situation, journalists, civilians, the list goes on. But I did not, I was following it on Twitter. which it was an interesting day. Half of my timeline was college basketball tweets, and half of it was war coverage. So
Yeah.
I mean, um, but I mean, yeah, Providence continues to win. Jeff Goodman just made a joke that Providence is going to drop 10 spots in Ken Palm because of the win. Could happen. Again, Ken Palm is predictive metric, but at some point you're 22-3, 22-4, whatever you are. Like, you seem to be figuring it out. You seem to have figured it out. Like, I think you'll be all right.
Yeah.
So I know everyone's kind of still split on the whole, is Providence really that legit thing? But at some point you have the best quad one record in the country. Like, you gotta reward them to a certain
That would have
degree.
been on the flip side of that game, though. Like, that would have been such a big win for Xavier to pick up. They're 1-5 in their last 6.
Yeah.
Kind of falling apart down the stretch. This was a team that was ranked, I think, for most of the season, at least like half the season, I think. And they've fallen apart. So I haven't seen them as far as like bubble discussions. I think most people still have them in the field. But yeah, not great.
No, not in the slightest.
Other Big East games, we had UConn and Villanova give us
Worst ejection of the week. That was so bad.
That was a
Like, I don't
disaster.
need to eject him for pumping up the crowd. Like, I don't know why you got to take it that personal. And again, another one that was kind of talked. It's not like Dan Hurley threw a punch, so like it wasn't talked about ad nauseum. But again, shout out to RJ Cole. Layup, draws a charge, wins the game.
Yeah. UConn is one of these teams for me that they could make the Final Four or they could lose in the first round. I think both of those things are definitely possible for this UConn team.
I understand that.
I like Cole. He needs to be consistent, but I like him. Sonogo's good.
I like Gaffney.
Yeah. So like they're like a fun team that I'm definitely looking at what their draw ends up being for the tournament. Because they're one of these like boomer bust teams, I think, in much the same way that like Alabama is going to be a big boomer bust team. You want to hear about something that made me frustrated that I found out?
Let's hear it.
Yeah. Other than like all the other frustrating things going on, right?
Really?
I guess in the grand scheme of things, maybe not that frustrating. But Houston is their top 5 in the net rankings, and they have 0 quad 1 victories. I don't understand how that works. I don't get it.
Beats me. Period.
The net to me is the most frustrating thing, because there's also an element of it that like factors in margin of victory. And so like if you just beat a bunch of bad teams by a lot, then like you get boosted in the net. So it's not real. Like I don't understand how a team can be in the top 5 of the net and not have a single quad 1 victory. I just don't get it.
I don't understand it either.
Yeah.
Truthfully. Like I have no words.
Every other team in the top 10 has at least 5. So it's not like, oh, like the other teams only have like 2, and so Houston's got made out. No, like all the other teams have 5 or
Houston
more.
Houston is 0-3 in quad 1.
Yeah. Fraud Watch. You know what else is on Fraud Watch? The net rankings. The net rankings are on Fraud Watch.
Net rankings have been on Fraud Watch.
Yeah, they're bad. They're bad.
Like, yeah, I just don't. Yeah, I don't get that one. I don't.
What did you think of the teams I had in my untrustworthy article?
I shall pull it up again.
Yeah.
But I know we talked about it,
mm-hmm.
and I'm fairly certain I agreed on most of them.
Okay.
But if my computer loads, Houston, yeah, that's fine. But we just talked about it. Michigan State, yes.
Okay.
And I think your first sentence sums it up. A team with big time turnover issues and no real star player.
Yeah.
Sums it up.
Mm-hmm.
Loyola, Chicago. I do agree that the sentimentality might have some effect on people's rankings. I have watched them. I think depending on like they're trending down from like being an at large, like they're going to find themselves on the bubbles soon enough. Things, I mean, again, trend, but yeah, I don't. I might take them for the fun of it, but I can understand why. Like I wouldn't trust Loyola to like get out of the first weekend though. Like I was never gonna trust them to get out of that first weekend.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't. I mean I can get that if like some people are staying like, oh, maybe they're a Sweet 16 team, but Alabama's just untrustworthy in general. They're just too sporadic. You know they can beat good teams and they'll play bad teams. It's one of those curious positions where I could see them if they get out of the first week, they're just gonna play up to their competition. And again, it's just gonna be getting out of that first weekend. And if they are a 6 and they draw, like, gosh, I mean, Murray State drops a couple games, maybe they drop to an 11. Like,
yeah, oh yeah,
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't. UCLA. If you've listened to this podcast, you know about how Karl and I feel about UCLA. So I don't think I have to delve into that one.
No.
In Iowa State, it's hard to trust a team when you start undefeated and then just fall apart in conference play.
Yeah.
So
the thing for me I'll go back to the thing with Loyola Chicago. I'll say this is on paper, I can see why people would like them. Like Drew Valentine, good coach. They shoot really well from the field and from three. They're a very efficient team. They take good shots, high quality shots. But there's like something about them that just it's not the same. Iowa State is an interesting case because they are very clearly better than the bottom of the Big 12. They're better than Oklahoma. They're better than West Virginia. They're better than those teams. They're definitely not as good as like the Texas Techs, the Kansases, the Baylors.
And we'll get into that later, but yes.
Yeah. So they're in this like weird middle ground where they also they're like 5-9 in their conference, which I don't love either. So I think like they're getting a little bit of a Big 12 bump there. And I think most
6-9. They're 6-9 now.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh, because So they've beaten Texas Tech. They've beaten Texas. So like
they have a shot at Baylor to end the season.
Yeah, so they're capable of winning those games. They have a really good defense. They killed it in the transfer portal. I'll say that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if they end up as an 8 or a 9, then you're done. Like you end up facing like a Wake Forest in the first round, and then you have to play a 1 seed if you beat like a Wake Forest. So I don't know. I just don't think they're like that. So
I agree.
We're going to talk about sleepers for conference tournaments. We're going to go through the Power 6, and we're going to talk about maybe teams that you might not be looking at who could win the conference tournament, potentially steal a bid. So let's get this started with.
Oh yeah.
Let's get this started with the ACC. You know the ACC better than anybody I know. So who do you think is a potential sleeper for the ACC tournament?
Wake Forest.
Yeah, I saw that coming from a mile away. So
yeah.
talk to me about Wake Forest. Like, what is it about Wake Forest that?
They have the ACC Coach of the Year in Steve Forbes. They have the ACC Player of the Year in Alondas Williams, and it's getting to the point where, I mean, listen, I'm a Comer. Paolo Banchero has hit a freshman wall. Wendell has been too inconsistent in streaky play. There's not really Duke's the best team in the ACC, but you can't really make an argument that they have the best player in the conference. Maybe best upside, but not the best player. It's Alondas Williams. Mm-hmm. So when you factor that in, plus you have Jake LaRavia, plus you have guys that you can surround Williams with his passing, his ability to create with the ball in his hands. They do strike me as a team that can get hot, and maybe like they just lost to Clemson by double digits. It's not good. Like they were kind of on everyone's like should be in on their bracket watches. Mm-hmm. That could bump them back down into conversations about bubble watch. So, maybe that factors into a little bit that they feel like they have to get hot. But I don't think there's a team that they can't beat in the ACC.
Mm.
And I don't think there's a team that they don't think that they can beat in the ACC. So
Yeah, that's important too. That's an
correct.
important piece of it. My pick, I got to go back to Old Reliable, and we were high on Virginia Tech to start the year, and I still think it's there for them because
It is.
they've won 7 of their last 8. The one loss coming to North Carolina. They're getting hot at the right time. I think they have the talent as long as Keve Luma shows up, as long as Storm Murphy can be efficient. Like, I think this is a team that is capable of beating most teams. I think they might need some help from other places. But
Those are both teams that went down to the wire with Duke. Who is your best team in the conference?
Mm-hmm.
And while the ACC tournament has notoriously been Duke's kind of like in this one and done era, can't help but feel like they've. I don't think it'll be Duke this year. So
I mean, they've essentially wrapped up the regular season though, which they never do. So.
Almost. The win at Virginia was huge, but it's still Syracuse, Pitt, and North Carolina. So I'm holding out.
Yeah.
I'm holding out till I see Notre Dame drop another game and Duke.
Yeah. If they win 2 of 3, is it clinched?
Pretty much, yeah. Because they have the game in hand against Notre Dame. They have the tiebreaker.
Yeah. All right. So Wake Forest, Virginia Tech. Keep an eye.
And I went away with my hot take there from the beginning of the year. I said Virginia Tech was going to win the ACC tournament.
I think we both said that. Yeah.
I think we did both say that. So look at Karl sticking to his guns and Alex running away from it.
I have to stick to my guns, man. I have to. The take's not dead until it's dead.
I just run away.
Yeah.
Run away.
He doesn't want the smoke. All right, let's
I love the episode. Alex doesn't want the smoke.
Yeah. Well, let's go to the Big Ten. Let's look at the Big Ten. My sleeper for the Big Ten, as badly as I want to say Maryland, I'm looking at Iowa sitting at 9-7 in the conference. They're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th. They're 6th place in the conference. They're behind Rutgers. They're behind Ohio State. But this team can score. Coming from a Maryland fan, this team can score. What was it, like 110 that they dropped? Jordan Bohannon,
something like that. Yeah.
Jordan Bohannon hit 1 billion threes.
Yes.
Keegan Murray added, I think, 30, maybe. Yeah. Jordan Bohannon didn't even lead the team in points. Or he did. No, he taught. So he had 10 threes, 30 points. Keegan Murray also had 30 points.
Dang.
98 against Nebraska, 75 on Ohio State, 86 on Michigan State the other day. This is a team that can score, and if you do not defend, they will run you out of your gym.
Yes. Or in this case, Indianapolis, but absolutely.
Right. And so we know that that's the formula that Iowa takes every single year. Is just all gas, no break, like
no defense.
We're going to try to score. We're not going to get back on defense. We're just going to try to score as much as we can and hope that it's more than the other team.
Precisely.
That's a dangerous spot to be. That's a very dangerous spot to be. That's essentially what Oral Roberts was last year.
And when you listen, all the conference tournaments are back to back to back to back. So when you see the ball go in those first 2 days, oh, you are feeling it. Yeah. Jordan Bohannon sees a couple drop in that first game against whoever it is. Oh, good luck.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to be pulling, which could be Fran McCaffrey and that team's like just nailing the coffin. But I mean, granted, he's going to be pulling anyway. But who cares?
Yeah. And if they don't make it, if they lose early in the tournament, Jordan Bohannon will just come back for like a 9th year in school and then
correct. He'll get a waiver.
Do it all over again. Yeah. Iowa scares me a little bit as like because I don't know what it is. Like the thing about what happened with them in the NCAA tournament last year is that they ran into an Oregon team that was so much more athletic than them.
Yes.
So much more athletic. Like it was so clear watching the game that they could not run with them. This team's built a little different, I think. Like Keegan Murray's a more athletic star than Luka Garza was. So
Absolutely.
I think that makes this team ceiling higher. I want to say, even though Luka Garza was a better.
Also, it helps to have a lottery pick.
It's true.
It does.
It's
It
true.
does.
I have Keegan Murray going in the top 10 of the mock draft that
It
I'm
helps to have a lottery pick.
very close to being done with. So
Helps to have a lottery pick.
yeah, never hurts.
For my sleep, I did want to ask you,
Yeah.
what do we define as a sleeper?
I just think as long as you're not in like the top four of your conference.
Okay. But like I think it could be a conference by conference basis, because you could argue any team under Duke going into the ACC tournament could be a sleeper.
Yes.
Outside of maybe
I think that's
Notre Dame. Outside of Notre Dame.
fair.
Okay, so like, and I'll say
it should be conference by conference, because if we were doing the WCC, there's no way we'd pick like anybody other than Gonzaga to win that tournament. I don't think. It's like anybody would qualify as a sleeper.
correct. And I'm glancing back at this Gonzaga USF game. Anyways, I want to preface this. I have multiple statements. Part of me wants me to believe that the basketball gods, for all the pain and suffering Northwestern has undergone, losing 100 games in Big Ten play by 8 points or fewer, that they will miraculously rattle off 5 or 6 wins and make the Big Ten tournament. But that won't happen.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to do it. I really did.
But that won't happen. I'm coming back down to earth. I don't think anyone outside of the top 4 loses that tournament. But if I have to pick a sleeper, I'll be basic and take Rutgers.
Mhm.
That Ron Harper Jr. and that entire squad and Peichel they get hot, which is always, listen, I'm going to say a team gets hot this entire episode, because that's all conference tournaments are.
Yeah.
You get hot at the right time, you're cooking. I don't know what else to say. And listen, not everyone's going to be 2011 UConn, but yeah, I'll go Rutgers. Okay. And then just if I have to pick, I legitimately don't think anyone outside of the top 4 is gonna not like win it. So
I think that's a fair take. While we're talking about the Big Ten, do you think Michigan gets in the tournament?
No.
You don't? You don't think so?
No. Northwestern beats them in the second round.
Oh, okay.
No,
so
I'm just kidding.
A little Northwestern pick, a mini one.
Nah, that won't happen either.
Oh, okay.
Northwestern's gonna lose to Nebraska for some reason in the first round. Like I'm gonna have no words. I'm just gonna be crying on the way back from Indianapolis.
Okay, so we got Iowa and Rutgers as our sleepers.
Rutgers, Alex Astrick. Yes.
Yeah. Northwestern.
Yeah, Northwestern pulls off a miracle and Alex is just celebrating.
Yeah. Imagine that, bid thieves, Northwestern.
Oh my gosh, Alex comes off of such a high that he's unable to record the next 2 podcasts. It's just Karl by himself for an hour.
Alex just catatonic in his room.
That's exact. I just won't be able to take finals. That's exactly what will happen. That's exactly what will happen.
Okay, Big 12. Let's go Big 12. This is a fun one. It's a fun one.
I'm going to say the same thing I said for the Big Ten. I don't think anyone outside of the top 4 loses that tournament. Mm-hmm. And I'll go even closer. I don't think anyone outside of that top 3 wins the tournament. But to pick a sleeper, you know what? They scare me because they're too inconsistent and they just got blown out. But I've been riding with them for a while. Going to Oklahoma.
Oh, little Duke connection there.
I mean, certainly, but yeah. I like them. I just like them. I just enjoy Porter Moser.
Yeah.
And that Oklahoma team. And I'm going to look past everything that has happened and look forward and hope for the best.
Mm-hmm. I think that's okay. They're tough.
They're tough.
They're not tough. They went to overtime with Texas. They lost by 2 to Kansas. They beat Texas Tech.
They can't really shoot.
No. But we've seen it on, like, here and there. We've seen it.
I'm really not starting to like this take.
Yeah. Hey, it's
Oh,
okay.
we're
It's okay.
gonna roll with it. We're gonna roll with it.
I agree with you. Like, I'm not really convinced by any. It is a tough conference, like top to bottom, but
Ooh, okay. Can I introduce a caveat?
yeah.
If we're not confident that anyone like outside of the top 3 or 4 like loses it,
Mhm.
can this sleeper be one to make the semi?
That feels a little cheap, but I guess.
Well, like I'm being truthful. I
Yeah.
don't think Baylor, Texas Tech, or Kansas loses the Big 12 tournament.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I'll eat my word. I'll eat crow in 2.5 weeks if it comes out that Oklahoma ran the table and wins the Big 12 tournament. Happily.
Yeah.
But Big 12, Oklahoma to make a run.
Here's what I'm gonna go with.
Iowa State. I knew it. I knew you were gonna say it.
I'm not, because
Dang
I
it.
just had the take that I don't trust them. So I
That's what make
can't
them even better.
turn around and pick them. I'm gonna man. I don't
See?
all these teams. Yeah, this is tough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I have zero reason for picking this other than just like vibes. That's the only reason.
Love it.
TCU.
I knew you were gonna say it.
Yeah.
I knew it. I was gonna say it for you.
They can't shoot. They haven't
Nope.
really shown up against any good team at all. Like,
But who cares?
haven't been like remotely competitive. They lost by 10 to Baylor. They lost by 13 to Texas Tech.
Put it in the past.
Lost by 12 to Baylor. Yeah.
Put it in the past.
Put that
Look
all in the
forward.
past. This is about right now.
No, it's about the future.
It's about the
about
future.
right now. Just forget.
All that to say, the vibes are telling me TCU. Mike Miles will go for 35 points in a game. He'll shoot better than 30% from the field. That's what the vibes are telling me. So TCU.
Oh my gosh.
TCU.
Alex Chick in the college hoops chat if TCU makes a run.
Oh, unbearable. Unbearable. But that's what the vibes are telling me. So that's my Big 12 sleeper. All right, we're done with the Big 12. Let's go to the SEC.
Can LSU be a sleeper? Yeah. They're 7-8 in the conference.
Yeah.
I'll go LSU.
Okay.
Defense wins championships.
Defense, apparently.
I'm gonna buy into that.
Defense gonna win championships.
And yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. LSU, wow. Maybe not the most loved team on this podcast. Maybe not even nationally. People don't like LSU, but because of what way. But Xavier Pinson's back. You got Tari Eason. You do play defense. Again, my motto for this whole prediction is forgetting what has happened in the past. And I'm looking past Kentucky beating you without their best guards.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't happen. It didn't. I don't know what else to say.
Forgot about it.
Yeah, exactly. Who's talking about it? Not me. So LSU.
I think I'm gonna go back to the deep well of preseason takes.
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
You know exactly where this is going. Mississippi State at 7-8 in the conference. I think they're very talented. What better time to figure out how to put it all together than March? So they really have hey, this is they only lost by 5 to Alabama. They're playing all these teams pretty tough for the most part.
Is Mississippi State the Northwestern of this SEC?
Oh, are they?
Oh,
who knows?
Anyways, not to slander Mississippi State there.
Yeah. Gosh. Anyway, I think this team has the talent. They have the backcourt. So I think they can beat some team. And we just saw Auburn lose to Florida. So they're not invincible. They can lose.
The real sleeper might actually be South Carolina. I mean, they're 8-7 in the conference now. Frank Martin's made the Final Four before. What, just 4 years ago? 5 years ago?
We might be missing the real sleeper in this conference.
Yeah. I just wanted to make mention of them.
No, you're right, because I actually I need to talk about this because
Okay.
I think it was a TikTok live that I did. We had a South Carolina fan in there who insisted to me that South Carolina is winning the SEC tournament and then multiple games in the NCAA tournament. If that happens, I told him I would make a video just for him about South Carolina. So
I grew up hating the University of South Carolina, so
hey, that's understandable.
I will not like that.
Yeah, but
Yeah, but the Gamecocks absolutely can
hey,
make a
sure, why
run.
not? Why not? The game
But
comes.
granted, everyone can make a run.
Yeah.
So again, one of those
I just
buzzwords,
feel like
buzz statements.
I just feel like so many of these conferences are so top heavy that it's hard for me to see.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to see one of these scenarios actually playing out.
Oh,
Like,
the ACC could be truly chaotic. The ACC is going to be so blissfully
yeah.
just not its traditional self that
Oh, it's
it's
gonna be a mess. It's gonna be awesome.
mayhem. It's going to be an all-state commercial.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The ACC tournament is going to be an all-state commercial. Quote,
Clip
Alex
that.
Cervantes.
Yeah, clip that. Okay, Pac-12, last one. Actually, no, we still have to do the Big East. But
Oh, geez. Again, this one, like, I'm hard pressed to, like, in a world where Arizona loses in that tournament, that it's not UCLA then winning or USC. Like, it's top heavy once again.
mhm.
I'll go with your Oregon Ducks and Dana Altman
Mm.
piecing it together and winning. And I feel like I have an inkling of where you're going with your pick. Can I call it?
Back to the deep well of preseason takes. We're going Washington State. This is one that I don't believe in the slightest. I don't know that I believe most of these. That I'm just saying, I think a lot of these are teams that I thought would be better than they are. And so I'm still holding out just that last little bit of hope that maybe, just maybe, they'll put something together.
We delete our hot takes video.
No, because we have to, once the season's over, we're going to go through and grade them.
Bro, I'm not passing.
Listen, we have to. We have to.
Anyways.
Well, maybe if Northwestern wins, like the Big Ten tournament, then you won't even be there for that episode. So then I'll just have to do it by myself.
Boom.
There you
Boom.
go. There you go.
Problem solved. Chris Collins, if you're watching this, please win the tournament.
I don't really think Washington State has any chance of winning this tournament. I do think they could make things difficult for some of the top teams. Like I think they could make things difficult on USC. But do I think they're gonna win? No. Like this even came up in the preseason for us, where we're like every conference is a clear like top 3 teams, and that's kind of held up.
Spare the ACC.
Spare the ACC, which was supposed to be Duke, Carolina, and Florida State, and then ended up just being Duke. So there you go. All right, let's go to the Big East. I don't have a lot to say about the Pac-12. I don't see how Arizona doesn't win, but I think that's
if Arizona doesn't win, I think USC or UCLA wins it because they were the one that beat Arizona.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing about March though is like we see these like big upsets all the time, and then we get back to another year and we're like, I don't see any way this team could lose.
No.
All right. Anyway, Big East.
Well, we recorded this yesterday before Ryan Nembhard got injured. I would have said Creighton.
Yeah, I probably would have gone there too.
Shed a tear for Creighton right now.
Pour one
Shed
out.
a tear for round of 32 matchup between Creighton and Gonzaga. I wanted to see that.
Yeah.
But I shall go with Marquette. Justin Lewis.
That's the correct pick.
It is the correct pick.
Yeah.
Justin Lewis and Daryl Morcell and Shaka Smart lock their bid to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're safe already, but
Golden Eagles. No, but like lock it.
like we'll really lock in.
Lock
Like,
it.
yeah,
Lock
like,
Lock
really
it.
lock that bid in. Yeah. Yeah.
Auto bid.
If it wasn't clear already, like they're
Auto
going.
bid.
Yeah, they're going.
They're going.
I'll just throw a little note out, and I hesitate to do this because I just talked about how much of a disaster they've become. But like
Oh, no.
Xavier's better. I'll say this: they're better than 7-9 in the conference. They're better than that. Xavier, you're better than that. Okay. But Marquette is my pick.
I'm gonna steal a Chris Collins quote. You are what your record says you are.
Oh,
You know how many times I've heard that at a press conference?
probably a lot because
Yeah.
yeah.
It's okay though. I'm still a believer.
Yeah.
But anyway, stole Chris Collins quote. You are what your record says you are until you're not. Because this episode is about forgetting what's happened. Xavier or Marquette wins the Big East tournament.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
those are our sleepers for the power conferences.
Should we go through who we actually think is going to win the East tournament so we can like compare it?
So we don't sound as dumb when
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, like, because someone could like pull this up and be like, they thought.
Yeah.
This guy thought Oklahoma was going to win the Big 12 tournament.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go back through.
Thank you. I'm just trying to save us.
No, you're right. That's a good call. ACC.
I'm going to say Wake Forest. I'm sticking with Wake Forest.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Oh, so your sleeper matches up with your okay.
Yes.
I'm gonna say Notre Dame.
That's fine. I respect that pick.
I think Notre Dame.
Like Wesley, tournament player of the year.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
Okay, Big Ten.
Big Ten.
Yeah.
Purdue, because I think it gives people a false sense of how far they're going to go in that NCAA tournament.
That's good. That's like a take within a take. I like that.
Thank you.
I think it's going to be either Purdue or Illinois.
Yeah.
I'll go Illinois just to be different. I'll go Illinois.
Okay.
All right, Big 12.
Texas Tech.
I'm going to say Kansas, and I think Texas Tech goes farther in March.
I can respect both of those.
Yeah. SEC, yeah.
Kentucky.
I agree with you. I think
Okay.
Kentucky, yeah.
Kentucky is arguably the second best team in the country. Not even. They probably are just the second best team.
I mean, we've
said Arizona. I can't slander Arizona like that.
We've said this. Like long term, we trust Kentucky, I think, more than we trust Auburn.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, why are you not giving your best player and the potential number 1 overall draft pick the ball?
Yeah,
I get he was covered, but you just try to get it.
Instead, you're giving it to a bad decision maker instead.
Correct. You just gotta force it. Like it doesn't matter. You saw your point guard, your bad decision maker, force it into traffic. Just try to get him to force it into Jabari Smith.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, anyway.
That's like the thing with bad decision makers is like Wendell Green has had a fantastic stretch of games this year where he's looked really good. And so that covers up the like, he takes a questionable shot, but it went in. Yeah. Like people are very results oriented. So like when it starts going poorly, that's when it's like, oh, he's a bad decision.
It's fair.
Yeah.
We're all reactionary.
We are. That's just the nature of the sport. So Pac-12.
Arizona.
Yeah, I think Arizona. I think they're clearly the best team in the Pac-12.
They are.
I think by a wide margin.
I'd take USC second though.
Would you?
I've come around to the Trojans.
Okay. I'm like kind of, I don't know. Them UCLA are kind of like on a similar
again
level for me.
I understand that.
Okay, Big East.
Providence.
Ooh,
Providence.
okay.
I don't. I was going back and forth between two teams, and neither of them were Villanova. Oddly enough,
Was it UConn?
it was.
Yeah, I think I might go UConn.
I can
Um,
again.
well, I don't know because I kind of want to see them go on a run. And well, I guess I could. They're not mutually exclusive.
They're not,
I'll stick with UConn. I'll stick with UConn.
especially at UConn. It is not mutually exclusive to win your tournament and then go on a run in March.
No, that's very true. Um, okay. Last little note before we close. So those are our
Okay.
picks to win the tournaments. So hopefully those will be more accurate than the sleepers were.
Yeah,
That'd be crazy if like all the sleepers hit and like
that would be one of my sleeper. Then I'm right on the ACC in general. So
true.
yeah,
Yeah. I was thinking about this. Mid majors this year feels like are better than ever. I feel
Yeah.
like there are more really good mid major teams this year than there have been. And I don't know if that's because I'm just paying better attention, but like whoever gets out of the MEAC is going to be tough. Or not the MEAC, the MAC. Sorry, not the MEAC. The MEAC is who's in the MEAC? I don't even know. Whoever gets out of the MAC is going to be tough. South Dakota State, best 3-point shooting team in the country. They're going to be a problem for whatever like 4 seed they run into. New Mexico State, very good. Wyoming, Colorado State, Boise, like the whole Mountain West, like
just the Mountain West.
Just the Mountain West in general. They're going to be a problem.
Murray State, Davidson.
Murray State's currently blowing out Belmont.
Yep.
Yeah. Davidson, Dayton, if they sneak in, VCU, like a lot of really good mid majors. Gonzaga.
Yeah, Gonzaga.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know them.
Right. Yeah. Sneaky good. Yeah, so it'll be a fun tournament. I think it'll go one of two ways. I think like there's going to be a ton of like double-digit seed wins, or it's just going to be like weirdly chalky for how good the rest of the field is.
So there's not going to be like that little middle ground we typically see where we see like a handful. You just think it's going to be basically chalk if it happens. It's just one or two.
It's hard to say because like
you have to see the bracket, obviously.
Right. That's the biggest thing is like I have to see the bracket, but all that to say, the mid majors this year are very fun. Chattanooga's good.
Can't forget about them.
Even like Cleveland State, like they're going to be a 16 seed probably, and they're good.
They did lose tonight to Detroit.
They did. It's true. But when you have like a microwave on your team, like Detroit does, then
yeah, it's tough.
That's just going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at these. Yeah, so we'll see.
What were you looking at?
I was just looking at Lenardi's bracketology. He's got Cleveland State, Kansas.
Yeah, that's.
But then the winner of that probably plays Murray State.
That's a crazy.
So Kansas, Murray State, round of 32.
Oh man, I've said it before, but I really hope Murray State I think if they go undefeated and run through their conference tournament, which I expect them to, I think they jump up to like a 6 or 7.
They need to be rewarded with it.
I think they should. I mean, that's what happened with the last Murray State team that was like insanely good. Before, I think it was a pre-John Morant team, but they were like a 6 seed. And I
don't mean to be that guy, but if you really want to reward Murray State, give them the 7 and make Baylor the 2 in their region. But yeah.
I'm trying to think. Okay, so I wasn't misremembering this. Wichita State back in the day, they got a 1 seed.
Yeah.
Because they were undefeated, right?
Correct. To my knowledge, yes.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, had Murray State gone undefeated, would they be getting similar treatment, do you think, or not? Because that was the year after Wichita State went on their run. So they were kind of already in the like public eye as like, oh, they're like good. They're like actually good.
Murray State dropped the earlier one to East Tennessee State and then lost to Auburn. That Auburn one was always going to be tough. So
How much did they lose to Auburn by?
13.
13. That's not bad. There are SEC teams losing to them by more than that.
There are.
So, yeah, I guess.
All right.
All right. Any final thoughts before we ramp this boy up?
Do close the game. Finally.
Yeah. Didn't cover, but.
Didn't cover, but at this point, I don't care.
Yeah, we'll take the wins where we can.
Honestly.
Yeah. Oh, I have a final thought. By the time people are seeing this, we will have hit 1 million views on TikTok. And we've been doing that for like less than 2 months. So like that's cool.
You've been doing that for the last 2 months.
Hey, don't sell yourself short. You have a video and you appear in another video on there.
I'm absolutely selling myself short.
And you're always free to do more of them. I don't want you to think that it's just my thing.
I will do my best.
You're allowed to do them.
Got to tell my professors I need TikTok time.
Yeah. Thank you to everybody though who's taking the time to watch
absolutely
videos or tune into the lives. Like we have fun doing this and we're glad that people spend even like a couple minutes watching our videos. That's really cool.
100%.
Yeah.
Go follow us on Twitter.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we need to plug the Twitter more on maybe I'll do that for the thanks for 1 million. I'll just be like, hey, go follow us on Twitter. I'm
gonna make a cheesy outro. Those seem to do well.
Oh, like for
yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Squirrel.
Yeah,
like
I know.
The squirrel doing this. Yeah.
That's a good one. I think that's gonna do it for us. Yeah, if you're listening on Spotify, throw a 5-star on there. If you're watching us on YouTube, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. I'm ready for March. Are you ready for March?
I'm absolutely ready for March.
All right.
Because then I get to sleep in May.
Hey,
John Rothstein.
We don't sleep. Yeah, we sleep in May. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.